Greetings and welcome to a Wednesday edition of the Shotgun Start. It is December 4th. Andy, how we doing?
Brendan, I gotta say, I love your quarterback. I love Jameis.
He's absolutely electric. He just makes people happy right now. He made Jerry Jeudy happy, Broncos fans happy, I'd say Browns fans happy, fantasy owners happy everywhere, both owners of the Broncos defense, maybe a Jameis flyer, a Jerry Jeudy flyer. He made the Lord. He's making the Lord happy each and every day.
How about I hope the Lord helps me stop throwing pick sixes. I mean,
delivers me from these pick sixes.
Delivers me. I wanted to ask you a question. If the Lord could deliver one player from one aspect of their game, who would you want the Lord to, from a golf standpoint? So it's for Jameis. We want.
Yeah,
I think Jameis might be. If we could have the Lord like erase his bad plays, like 2 bad plays a game. I think there'd be the greatest quarterback.
He's Tom Brady. Yeah, Johnny Unitas. It's a good question on the golf. I mean, what are you going to say? Like Will Zalatoris' putting maybe would be up there.
I think Justin Thomas putting.
Yeah.
You could say, Lord, deliver me. If JT could say, Lord, deliver me from my being one of the 10 worst putters on tour and make me a top 30 putter.
Do you say JT? I don't know if this was in your interview research or it's just an article I read recently. It's all blending together right now. He was grousing about people being critical of his putting. He said the stats are misconstrued because all his good putting days were at like PGA, Amex when they didn't have shot link up, in his bad putting days. Or I can't remember if I did this for year in review.
Insanity.
He said it was skewed, like the Pebble Beach event, or whatever it happened on the courses that didn't have data. I swear he said this recently. Thought it was misleading.
I would say, okay, maybe they're slightly skewed this year, but we have an entire career of bad putting
all right.
to look at from you.
He said this on the record. I am not I'm paraphrasing it, but he's like, and then my bad days would be when they were, shot linking it up. And so the stats were skewed.
I mean, you could say deliver me from the driver yips, who some players that have gotten the driver yips. Smiley wouldn't be doing Smiley's happy hour.
Yeah, fair.
If he could do the Jameis.
That's true. I mean, I think it's gotta be someone who's a putter who just, the Zalatoris, he stirs the pot on the backstroke and stirs it again coming through. That could be him. There's a lot of options. God. What a game. That was so fun. I was just laughing. I was trying to go to bed at 10:30. I'm just laughing. Can't stop. I went to bed. I watched it. He threw 80 passes. It went to 11:45. You got real NFL journalists like Ben Solak is I think this is the game of the year. Incredible. People just laughing. And we lost, I think, which is what we want at this point. So just makes everybody happy. What a Monday night. Football minute here. We got a lot to talk about. Do you have someone you'd want to deliver? Anything for just driver yips is what you're
honestly it might already happen. The Lord has delivered Matthew Pavon to the greatest teacher in the world. He started working with Mark Blackburn.
Oh, really?
I don't know if this came across your desk.
I didn't see this yet.
I got a hot tip. He tweeted about this. So maybe in golf, Mark Blackburn is the Lord. The Lord, and if you want a part of your game remedied, you go see the number one teacher in the world.
False idols. This is a big deal. Mark Blackburn. All right, you're comparing him to the Lord.
He's ridiculous. The golf. According to Golf Digest, he's the best teacher in the world.
That's true. It's a lock stock ranking, irrefutable evidence. He's clearly won, and the guy behind him is demonstrably worse for this reason, and that's why. But yeah, Pavon, the saliva that flows is about to.
New coach rankings coming out soon. This is exciting.
I can't wait.
Who's your guess on who's number one this year? Because it cannot remain the same.
Oh, that's a good question.
Do you think the Mayo man moves up because of what happened to Victor?
It's all a PR exercise, yeah. And who's ever hammering the PR deal, like who's ever out there enough? The Mayo man, though he gets a little hot. Who knows? I mean, I don't know if he,
I think Scott Hamilton's gonna shoot up the charts.
The ice skater? Who's Scott Hamilton?
He's the guy, the South Georgia boy that says this guy thumps it.
Oh, right.
And I think he's the architect behind the Mav McNeely Renaissance.
Well, you better be out there. You better be out there early on Thursday if you want to see the new and improved Blackburn-led Matthew Pavon. He's up first with Aaron Rye.
Talk about a poo-poo pairing. There's 20 guys in this field. I don't think you can put together a less watchable pairing.
Oh, the Europress gonna be pissed at you for that. Just disregarding. I mean, Albany, there are no fans anyways. It's just locals. It's rich people that are just kind of wandering around the sand and just show up outside the ropes by accident on their way to the beach. I don't think they're coming out early for Aaron Rye, Matthew Pavon. There's a bunch of Europress there. They were like a dog with a bone today on the Ryder Cup issue with Tiger. Just like, why are we like the Europress, that Tiger press conference today? I was just laughing. I watched it. I then read it. I was just laughing. It's like, this were a play. Everyone played their roles to perfection. Tiger said, I can't go. I don't know when I'll be able to go. I plan to go, but I don't know when it will be. I've got the competitive fire still burns, but I can't do it physically. Who knows when I'll play? As for the deal, some things will get done. I don't know when and in what shape or what form, but some things will happen at some point in time. And these were the questions. I'm trying to get to, the surgery. I feel so much better after the surgery. Like same song, different verse. We've done this for a while, but he doesn't have answers. The questions were asked, though. So that was Tiger played his role to perfection. The journalists played their role. Then we get this over-analysis. I'm watching on Golf Channel. By the way, Golf Channel, you have this rare Tuesday when someone might watch on a Tuesday morning in December. I come home, I flip it on, and we got Matt Adams telling me to buy Titleist golf balls in the PGA Tour Superstore segment.
They're everywhere.
Can we have something substantive?
Titleist is everywhere these days.
Ubiquitous. Holy cow.
God, just buying up every voice in the game.
They're scratching their way to the top. Titleist right now. They're all over the place.
Can't do a social media reel without 6 shots of Titleist in it.
So Golf Channel's on, and they're watch Golf Channel after they get through the Matt Adams segment. I was like, well, you might have people actually like watching this morning. Can we get some substantive discussion on the Tiger? What happened? Anything? And we just do this over analysis of him saying nothing. It's insane. He's like, he sounded committed. I was like, what?
Committed to what?
He sounds really committed to his role, I think, as a board member in fixing the game.
I watched this thing.
Everybody played their role to perfection. Go ahead.
I watched this thing, and I just thought about I want to preface this. This is the classic Larry David having said that. I want to preface this. I adore Tiger. I idolize Tiger. But when are we going to have the conversation that this is a 50-year-old athlete that's had 35 surgeries to his body, and you know what? He's just done. He might play here and there. He wouldn't want it to be described as ceremonial. Nobody wants to say this. But we're just past, he just physically cannot do it anymore.
His body is decrepit.
And we can't We cannot keep doing this anymore. We need to find some new lanes.
I love the softball that said you still like going to the gym. Like, oh my God, what
you look like you're built like a boxer. The guy, whoever asked the questions, you look like a boxer. What?
I had someone on the ground. The best was someone on the ground said there were plants from India to ask questions for Dr. Munjal, which were great. I thought the one was great about.
I love Munjal's, Dr. Munjal's just whole aesthetic.
Oh,
he's really
great.
up to the game. He's up the game. You can tell that he knows this is a big appearance every year. One of my questions: why is this a joint press conference? Why can't Munjal have his own presser?
I think Munjal's looking for a little glow that comes with the Tiger. I mean, I just don't think Golf Channel's going to carry that one live. If I'm guessing, they're not going to carry Dr. Munjal live, but maybe they would. They put shittier stuff on the air than that, or more inconsequential.
Could the whole Hero sponsorship be because of Munjal getting to sit up there with Tiger? Is that beyond the realm of possibility?
It's a 2-man dais. They extended through 2030 as their title sponsorship. So this is going to be an annual tradition now. Yeah, Tiger doesn't have anything to say. I mean, he doesn't. I love the questions. They're going at it like the Euro press. It's December 24 and they're hammering them about Ryder Cup play. They're just a dog with pay for play. Just a dog with a bone on that issue. What?
Speaking of Ryder Cup play.
What about it?
Do we see who was playing with who? Today?
Keegan with JT. You know, Tiger sets these
buddy ball.
Tiger putting his thumb on the scale. He is. Tiger said, "Oh, well, here's my friend Justin Thomas. Here's the Ryder Cup captain. Why don't you guys play together?" Some more fans might be out there for that one more than Pavon and Aaron Rai. Who knows?
I'm excited to see JT play. Because of the speed training he's been doing.
Yeah, he could be. You know, I was thinking about this last night, and this is how it sort of corrupted my brain is by golf. He's really just. A few years ago, he was in the class with everybody, all the top. Rory and Hovland, almost.
Hovland wasn't even in existence.
Sure, I'm not going to say, but guys we would have said last year, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to say he's just a guy, but he is so clearly
he's on the verge. I'm not ready to put him in the just a guy category, but he's close.
He just should be higher. And he's tier 2.5, tier 3 guy now. And anybody who doesn't okay, Q rating, maybe a different thing. PIP rating, maybe, a different thing. College football fan bases love him and all this things and game day appearances and all that. But he's really, really just not in the upper tier of star
right
player.
Now.
Yeah, right now.
I think this speed
It's unfortunate.
Stuff,
yeah.
Because the iron play got back to elite last year. And that was really bad the year before when he had the really bad year. And if he could become a top 25 driver of the ball with the iron play in the short game, I think he could get back up into tier. I think tier 1's probably 4 guys, really 5 guys.
Scheffler,
I think
Xander,
tier 2,
Rory, yeah.
Top of tier 2 is potential. And then you just look at some of the things that happened the last couple of years is Sahith has passed him by the last 2 years. That seemed unfathomable a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you look at he was probably a class above Xander. Now Xander's
for sure
2 classes above him.
For sure.
I don't know. I think it's super hard too for the young star once they get to their 30s. I think did I see somewhere his wife's pregnant?
JT?
They got a kid on the maybe
they had a kid. They
had
a
child.
Kid.
They just had.
Yeah,
baby so girl. I think this is a real thing. It's hard for the 20-something stars when their life changes for some of them.
Yeah,
and that'll be an interesting thing to watch.
I would just like to see him. Yeah, I was just thinking about it last night. He's really just not in the same class as some guys that we thought he did belong for a while, and now he's not. And I would like to see him come back.
He's you know who he's in a class with? Who we could say the tier that he's in the tank.
Septic tank?
I think like based off the last 2 years, that's where he's at.
Post scares tank, pre scares. His tank went down a little bit post scares.
No, actually, I think that was misleading. When I did my statistical analysis a couple weeks ago, I meant to bring this up. I forgot this as a note.
Data, strokes gained. All right.
I think tank actually went up. PJ, do you have that stats? I can't find it. I got too many Google Docs in here. I think tank went up in strokes gained off the tee last year. Oh, I got it. Here it is.
He did by a lot. By a quarter of a stroke, 0.253.
Next time we see Faldo, we should ask him about that.
So the squared off toe and this maybe is not delivering the gains that we thought. Hot baseball cleat. A lot of people are into the squares baseball cleat. Anything else on Tiger? Can I put a bow on that press conference? You look.
Yeah,
you
can put a bow. Put a bow. Like, I don't think there was anything. There was nothing. Nothing came out of that. Nothing.
I'll just
did
say,
anything.
He thinks I think what's a moderately interesting phrase is like redefining what a tour pro should be. I thought he said. Talking about reducing field sizes, reducing cards. He goes, the majority of the tour felt the same way. PAC was involved, subcommittees, it was unanimous on the boards that we need to present a better product for our fans. Playing opportunities have been reduced at certain parts, but also, again, we have player equity in this as well involved, which has never happened before. So the players who are playing, they're going to be well compensated going forward, which that was never the case. We need to redefine what a tour pro is. So I think there was some intrigue about that, like reducing player opportunities. Like, I don't know, you get equity, you're getting paid to be a tour pro. Not paid, but you know what I mean? There's some other compensation or benefit to being a tour pro. But other than that, I don't think he said. That was moderately interesting, other than that. Mm-hmm. The last thing I'll say is I think it's kind of regrettable, miserable bullshit that Tiger is spending whatever amount of mental and emotional energy in the sunset of his career having to deal with this. Now, I don't think he's like running the numbers on the deal and the head deal maker. I don't think he's that. But he's not Jack or Gary Player like dive bombing in with a comment that can just be consequence free. And like he is going to press conference and he has to deal with all these questions. And I think he literally built the modern value that all these guys made money on the PGA Tour. And I just think it's kind of bullshit that a bunch of chuckle fucks came along, leaders, whether it's tour leadership, whether it's guys who just chase the bag, whether it's, Tony Finau's rumored now to be going and his wife's making content about it. She's getting a boost out of that and having some fun with the TikToks on that. Like, I just think it sucks that Tiger has to use any amount of mental or emotional energy dealing with this, or even just pure time sitting in on a board meeting, trying to fix the mess that a bunch of guys created, making a bunch of money off basically the modern value that he created. I think it's kind of bullshit that he has to do this really in the sunset years of his career. Is that fair?
Yeah. I think it is. I think he signed up for it. He probably said, the last thing, I think like he felt the obligation to do this, right?
Defending his legacy or what built his legacy kind of thing, or what?
Yeah. I think that, and I think there was pressure of like, oh, Tiger, like he probably feels like, oh, I carry the most weight. I carry, like, you think about like where we were at the Delaware thing. And what that felt like, it was like, okay, there's a path forward. And part of the reason that was like Rory, Tiger, and the other big time players in the game united, right?
Yeah, totally.
I think like what extrapolated from that has gotten him into like way more than should be asked of him.
Yeah.
And all of these players, frankly, like all of them are like Patrick Cantlay, Rory McIlroy, Webb Simpson, Adam Scott, Malnati, like all these guys, like I don't think it's like a surprise. Like if you look at the stats, like Rory had a bad year last year, Cantlay had a bad year last year, like pretty much all the guys had bad years. Webb Simpson had a horrible year last year. Like compared to like their historic
Pepe P.
Pepe P got the win.
He was engaged and the this made him engaged.
Pepe P might have gotten a confidence boost by being in the room with all those guys.
There you go. But yeah, no, your point stands.
But like all these guys are being asked to do too much, and like the reason they are is because they kicked all the business people out of the room.
Yeah. Yep. It's one too far the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like at this point now, it's just I don't know. It's exhausting. I had something I wanted to say about this like Finau stuff.
Go for it.
You know how sad it is we've gotten to, and he might be going to LIV. He might not be going to LIV. I don't know. Who knows? You know, who knows who's going to LIV? Who else is going to LIV? There probably are going to be more people going to LIV. But like the fact that golf has gotten to the point that anytime any player WDs that's of note, it immediately is like, oh, they're going to LIV. Oh, they're going to LIV. Like Tony Finau, I know this didn't happen. Tony Finau's wife might have broken her wrist on Sunday. And he's like, oh, you know what? Yeah. We've got 1 million kids and I need to stay home and help my wife. Like, but like you can't WD if you're a top 30 player in the world at this point.
In December, around this time.
At any time.
Sure.
And not have it be like, oh, they're going to LIV. They're going to LIV.
Right.
Like, and he might go to LIV. I'm not saying he's not going to go to LIV or he is going to LIV. But like the fact that this is where we've gotten to with golf, it sucks. It sucks.
I've candidly like heard both ways. Like he's gone and he is not happening. And he's gone for a certain amount to a very specific team. And also is like, no, it's not happening. What do you think's going on? I thought Eamon had an interesting article. Like he destroyed Greg Norman and all that. But like Norman, it does seem to be it's outlived its usefulness, apparently. And Scott O'Neill, this sports businessman's coming in. And he talked about like where are things going. He hit on everything. Monahan's pay. But several scenarios seem feasible. LIV could continue as a standalone tour. Its teams could be folded into a new team golf component on the PGA Tour, a schedule where LIV's players' contracts fade out, or a combination of both. If the deal is struck and LIV continues as a separate circuit, then it's likely to do so as an ex-US enterprise, aligned more with the DP World Tour schedule and not competing with an all-important FedEx Cup season. Against that backdrop, consider a Bloomberg report, albeit one dismissed privately by some in Europe, claiming the DP World Tour and LIV are discussing a possible cooperative structure. Such talks would make sense as part of a three-way deal with the PGA Tour. Interesting. Lamagna wrote about that on Monday. Outside of a trilateral agreement, a LIV European alliance would pose an existential threat to the PGA Tour. We know that. The Saudis are platformed by Tour World Ranking points. Yep, everybody would go to the DP World Tour. In the absence of clarity in PGA Tour PIF negotiations, everything is presumably on the table. The continued existence of LIV isn't the ultimate prize for PIF Governor Yasser Al-Rumayyan. He wants access to team franchises. It's not difficult to see how main sports. It's not other major sports. It's not difficult to see how Al-Rumayyan and the PGA Tour's existing investors and strategic sports group align with that. In time, LIV will be viewed no more as an inconvenient junk asset that needs to be parked until it is finally shuttered. But optics still matter, and he's flushed several $1 billion on the drain on LIV. And so he wants to keep it going. But this is why we bring in Scott O'Neill. This is where we're doing our off season. The hot stove is hot right now. The Letterman jackets are probably being tailored. Pieters has gone from the RangeGoats to the
considerations.
Aces. The tweets are flying. Like, so
you know what
I
this
think
corroborates? What the Pieters move corroborates? How all the range goats asked to play on the Anthony Kim deal because they didn't want to play with Bubba.
Bubba was driving them crazy, right?
They all asked to get how do we get on the Anthony Kim individual plan?
So where do you think this is going? Is this the last December we're going to have to worry about these defections?
I mean, overarching though, like think about this. It's kind of a crazy period in golf when you think, like, when you just take a step back. PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan, maybe the most hated commissioner in sports. Is he getting close?
That's a crowded field, dude. People hate Manfred so much. Gary Bettman.
I'm just saying, like, he's
PJ. Any others?
I feel like those would be the two. Goodell. I feel like Goodell has gotten out of the cross. Around. Yeah. I feel like the COVID draft where he's sitting in his recliner really did a lot for him.
Like, but you got past the Ray Rice stuff and all that. He's kind of gotten into a new era.
And Silver is like the Teflon Don. Silver can't do anything wrong. He's untouchable. But Manfred, I don't know if people care enough to hate Jay, but people care enough to hate Rob Manfred.
So anyways,
go ahead.
My point is I mean, if you took a poll in golf, he's among the most hated people in golf.
Sure.
Mollie Marcoux Samaan, hated. Like, honestly, awful, horrendous record. Everybody was saying quietly, this is a complete disaster. All the people saying that quietly and not saying while it was happening, we're doing the women's sport a disservice.
Yeah, that's bullshit. Like, now you're going to talk about it? Like, we heard that 2 years ago, right?
It's the whole problem with LPGA coverage in general. Everybody doesn't say anything. And
they
it's
need Nate Lashley's going on the record saying this commissioner sucks.
Terrible.
She's terrible.
So anyway, she's out. Everybody wants Jay out. Keith Pelly left this year, and now Norman's out. So you have like four commissioners of like the four big tours. Like, golf's at this like inflection point, right? And where it's going is kind of like, we're getting a bunch of new people. We're going to have a bunch of new people leading it, and where does it exactly go? Is, I think, obviously that's been the question with the men's pro golf, but if you throw the LPGA in to this also, like, I don't know if there's ever been a time where we've had like literally, like, Jay might be gone. Jay could be gone any day now, and you could have within a calendar year. Do you think
that's going to happen?
I don't think it's going to happen, but it's possible. You could possibly have within the calendar year a new commissioner of LPGA, European Tour, PGA Tour, and LIV. Like, that's insane.
Yeah. And this is where...
And like, the commissioner of the PGA Tour does not exist on staff. Does not. It is someone coming from outside if they bring in somebody new. Like, it's not going to be accountant Ron Price or former rules official... what's his name?
Dennis Tyler.
Dennis. Yeah. So those two guys are not going to be running a company that just got $3 billion or $6 billion, whatever the end up number in investment. Like, that's not happening.
Big Ron Price. He was in the Sportico report. He got 13 mil for 2023.
Good. I mean, that's why you get that accounting degree. You get the master's in accounting degree, and you go down to Ponte Vedra and start as a staff accountant, because look at what can happen to your career.
He was great in those Senate committee hearings. He's much better than Jay would have done. Is he
the highest paid accountant in the world?
No, that can't be. Yeah, it's all a very interesting point in the game. I thought LIV is humming. It's going. There's openings on RangeGoats, openings on Ironheads, and all these rumors. There's an opening in the cliques, and there's rumors about who they're going to fill. And it's just like, I read the Eamon article, I read the LIV-based, point of view, Eamon makes it sound like Monahan is sort of the off-ramp for Yasser to kind of, LIV, by Eamon's judgment, has not worked. It's cost billions of dollars and gotten no return and no audience. And so is the tour deal, like Monahan is creating the off-ramp for Yasser to get out of whatever this next phase is, next step is. And it just feels like we're sitting here in almost 2026 while the hot stove is hot and we don't know what that off-ramp looks like at all. Tiger doesn't know. And at a certain point, the talent drain, if it's Finau, if it's whoever, none of these guys are necessarily the needle, but it's cumulative damage.
Yeah,
to the PGA Tour, it's cumulative damage, and I know that's not even LIV's not like going to the moon if it adds even like Xander or Tony, but it's a cumulative damage to the PGA Tour.
It's a cumulative damage to just the sport because LIV, it's going to do. None of these guys on their own or even in a small collective are worth very much, boost in numbers. But the drain is a huge knock to the PGA Tour. Like we're speaking in hypotheticals here, but it seems like there's a rumor of a bigger name player than Finau.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say it's Finau and Xander, or Finau and. What if there was a world where it was, and this is purely hypothetical, what if there was a world where Scotty or Rory won?
Right.
At what point, then, does the PGA Tour's rights deal become a real problem? Because I think there's a clause in their rights deal about, having the best fields in golf. There's a field strength thing.
Yep.
And at what point does that then become a big question?
Yep. It's cumulative.
And then do they have to pay back hundreds of millions of dollars to Golf Channel?
They better fix it. They better get to this arrangement, whatever it is. Someone needs to know. And it sucks. It feels like there's so much more money involved in the game, but everything's worse. And all right, the PIF's going to invest in the PGA Tour, and I don't even know what the PGA Tour is this future. Nobody seems to know yet. It's just there's so much more money in all this, and everything seems worse. which very simple statement, but Jay's making a ton of money. Everybody's making money. If you need to make money, one way. To use Stripe and or Stripe billing. What we've done since day one.
Maybe not day one, but close to day one.
Day 25, whatever you want to say.
When I started the company, I had a 2-year, I refused to even try and make money for 2 years.
And
the goal was just to focus on voice, This is advice for anybody trying to start a media company. Focus on voice before you focus on making money, because that's what's going to create something enduring. But then when I needed to make money, I turned to Stripe, and Stripe provides, a suite of products that help businesses make money. They helped someone that had $0 of revenue to date, a small company, a one-person company then, but they also help giant businesses, enterprise businesses such as AMC, Alaska Airlines, BMW, DoorDash, Hertz, Instacart, Lyft, MindBody, Marriott, OpenAI, Postmates, the PGA, Salesforce, Squarespace, Toyota, WordPress, and Zoom. Those are giant companies. They help our small companies, or help out small companies too. I think one thing to highlight is Stripe billing. Subscription businesses are hot. And that is something that helps businesses, recurring revenue. So Stripe billing helps more than 300,000 businesses. That's more than anybody else. We're one of those 300,000 businesses. Grow with advanced billing software to handle even the most complex business models. Whether a company needs flat rate monthly subscriptions, usage-based billing, invoicing, or anything in between, Stripe billing helps businesses grow with smarter recurring revenue management. Also, you could do just like a checkout with Stripe, and they do that really, really well. So if you want to learn more about Stripe, all you have to do is go to stripe.com. And that is just like it sounds, like striping a tee shot, stripe.com.
All the vowels are there. Everything's there. No tricks or gimmicks. Stripe.com. All right. Last thing on Tiger, not playing this week. Doesn't know when he'll play. Bob Herrick apparently asked him afterward, will he be ready to go for TGL? He said yes, but admitted if it was launching now, it would be difficult. So, I mean, I was told he's likely playing the PNC, father-son, which playing is like a different form. He's riding a cart. Charlie can use a lot of Charlie drives. It seems like he's I heard similar from Rex Hoggard on TV today. It seems like he's going to do that, but that's, wouldn't that make TGL kind of feasible too? Because it's like, you're not walking a ton. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But that was, it does seem like he might be ready for that one.
We haven't talked TGL in a while. You got any TGL thoughts lately? They're ramping up.
They're sending all these swag boxes to people. And
how did we not get one?
They had a big New York press junket, and PJ was not included or invited. He was not invited down to like all this big press conference. There's all these golf media people.
I saw Stevie gave a press conference. He was talking about Juan Soto while Cam Young was standing right next to him.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cam Young's from the Bronx, probably a Yankees fan, right?
Do you feel disrespected, PJ? Do you feel disrespected that you weren't invited to the New York event as a proud New York Golf Club fan?
I would have loved to get Steve's take on where he ended up with Matt Fitzpatrick and Cam Young, truthfully. Is like the Matt Fitzpatrick acquisition kind of like the Sean Manaea, we're betting on a breakout this year for a former All-Star kind of thing? I would have tried to draw every parallel.
I've got a theory. Steve understands media markets, and he understands that the third largest U.S. media market doesn't have a team. Why not take that market's most high-profile player? He's playing chess when everybody's playing checkers.
The New York market's highest profile player and the Chicago market's highest profile player.
Hey,
who's the New York market's highest profile player?
It's Cam Young, is it not?
Yeah, that's what I figured. I just wanted to make sure.
That's true. Trying to think of any other options.
I've got a hole design that I'm going to put out into the world this week. Right. What stopped it from happening today was I haven't been able to locate my printer paper. I haven't been able to locate
that's a tough one.
A piece of paper to draw my hole, but I think it's a really good hole.
All right, there you go. You want to have all the graphics, the fancy graphics
I want
with
to have
fake
the
houses?
Graphics.
Okay, all right.
I also got to get my wife to film it. I have to have her over the shoulder with me pointing out what's going on in it.
Hey, here you go. You need two hands to show how the land moves and where you should hit the ball and things like that.
Yeah.
All
yeah.
Right.
So
okay.
I'm gonna have a TGL hole design this week.
Let's do real quick. Commissioner's Minute. Andy, do you think $23 million is too much money for Jay Monahan to have made in 2023?
For his leadership quality, yes. For the job, like what the job is, probably not. I mean, how much does Goodell make?
Like $100 million or something like that.
It's over 60. Yeah,
$64 million.
I feel like that's a little high. I feel like this is a $10 million job.
Rob Manfred made $25 million after bonuses. Silver and Bettman make $10 million. They all generate like exponentially more than the PGA Tour.
This is too much money for Jay Monahan.
So like when you compare it, that's what I think I was like, whatever, it's commissioner. And then Jack Milko at SB Nation did a little quick run the numbers. And yeah, I mean, the PGA Tour is not generating the same as the NBA or NHL, or maybe, I don't think NHL, and certainly not baseball. And he's about the same as those. He's much more than Adam Silver. So.
In his career at the tour, he's now made over $100 million.
I think that's the worst optic of it was he'd made more than everybody on course earnings that year, except for, I think, Hovland, who won the FedEx Cup bonus. deal and made the same as Scottie Scheffler. I think that's the bad optic of it. Like, you don't have Adam Silver making more than Giannis, and you don't like it's just that's the worst optic of it. 23 to me didn't shock me. It's just like, God, you can't be making a bunch more or as much as all.
Like, the other issue is, like, if you replaced him with Ron Price or Tyler Dennis, would there be a discernible difference? Probably not. They're all unqualified for the job.
Speaking of replacements, Mollie Marcoux Samaan is out at the LPGA. We just mentioned this. I think, like,
shame on all the LPGA people that are now like, this is a disaster. Honestly, I want to reiterate this. Like, if you don't say something while it's going on, it's kind of bullshit to say something when it's over.
I wish I would have. Yeah. If you're up close and there are missteps and mistakes and the players are grumbling and grousing, I think, like, you affect change by making it an issue, right? Like, you affect change by addressing it, bringing it to the forefront. And now it's like, well, we're like scapegoating her now. Like, oh, the LPGA didn't capitalize on, like, the ascendancy of women's sports while she was commissioner. Like, that feels like she could have been terrible, but that seems to be taking responsibility out of, like, a million other things as to why the LPGA didn't, or Caitlin Clark being a generational meteor for WNBA that maybe not replicable. And it just feels like you're scapegoating her.
With Meg on the last fried egg pod, but how about the fact that, like, where's the blame to Mike Wan, who tied the LPGA rights, saddled them with the PGA Tour? Like, of course, the LPGA is not going to get any preferential treatment with rights when it's the fourth. You know, the PGA Tour is concerned with the PGA Tour, the Champions Tour, the Korn Ferry Tour, and then the LPGA. That is, like, there's no way that's not the priority when you bundle up with the PGA Tour.
So, yeah, I mean, this...
So, like, some of the blame is their shitty rights. Like, it's hard to watch the LPGA. It's a terrible rights package. If they went out on their own, they probably could get some pretty interesting offers from, you know, streaming companies that need tonnage for their product platforms. They probably could get a better deal, a more preferential deal with Golf Channel than if they weren't just the fourth fiddle. And it's just simply like, that was a bad move by the LPGA, if you want to go back, and that was before Mollie Marcoux Samaan.
Yeah. I just got an autoplay video of Tiger. Guy looks enormous. I can't believe they asked me, like, going to the gym. Anyways,
compared to a boxer.
So this article, Beth Ann, who's the ace of the LPGA beat, says, as women's sports experience an unprecedented amount of success, is the LPGA truly capitalizing on the momentum? I don't know. It's a fair question. I don't think that the commissioner, good, bad, or indifferent, and removing whoever it is and putting a new one in is going to head on address that question in a real substantive way. Now, they can chart a better course. They can attempt to capitalize on this success. Women's sports are ascendant in soccer and basketball, but why are they ascendant? And what is the LPGA doing to capitalize on it? More than just, like, some leadership. And that's honestly can be figurehead at times. So, yeah, by all accounts, like, two things can be true. Wasn't a good commissioner, but I think it feels like they're sort of scapegoating the, quote, lack of capitalizing on women's sports momentum on a bad commissioner, when could be a multitude of just reasons both in and out of their control. So,
also, while it was happening, this article should have been written 6 months ago.
Yeah, I mean, the Solheim shuttle thing was kind of a hot, but you know, this was like 2 years ago. People were talking, like, it's kind of, I think players were really grumbling. You know,
I mean, like, the thing about here's the thing. Like, imagine if Matt Eberflus got fired, and the first negative Matt Eberflus article came out, like, after he got fired. Everybody was like, he was great. He was everybody involved with the NFL just wrote glowing articles about Matt Eberflus as he went 0 for 5 in challenges this year. as he never won a road game on a Sunday in his 3-year career, as he had the worst, record ever in one-score games by a coach. It like this isn't the way it works in any other sport, but the LPGA is this like little thing where nobody says anything about anybody. And the only way you can cover the sport is with like roses. Like it has to be positive, or else like you don't want to see women's golf like thrive. You're trying to hamper women's golf growth. But the reality is like you have to cover it like every other sport covers their sport. And like one of the big undertones that added to popularity of the WNBA this year was that the players didn't welcome Caitlin Clark. And there was a lot of negativity. And you know what the WNBA writers and people that covered the WNBA did? They talked about it. They talked about the uncomfortable nature of this. And they talk about the shitty rights deal that they have and how that new deal is going to lead to a salary explosion in the sport where, these women, the best women basketball players aren't going to have to go work other jobs in the off season because the salaries are so low. Like this is it all goes back to the way that they hold this sport. It's preposterous to me. And like everything, the way people have talked about Mollie Marcoux Samaan, who's like all intensive, like horrible commissioner throughout. But we didn't hear any of this until she was gone, which is the whole problem with women's golf right now.
Yeah. The WNBA, by the way, has like worked for years, like, and was ready for when the Caitlin Clark thing happened. Like they've been slowly really working at like improving. So, all right, let's get to schedule for the week real quick. There are two events that I see. The Hero World Challenge, which we've gone into, hosted by Tiger Woods. That's on 1:30 to 4:30. Thursday and Friday, and then ends at 5 p.m. on NBC on Saturday, 4:30 on NBC on Sunday. Heading into Sunday night, waiting all day for Sunday night football.
I'm excited about this. I love the Hero.
You do like the Hero. Ernie Els, the proper Ernie Els course. That's why
I just think it's a great little like check-in. I think you can glean some stuff.
I don't disagree.
It's a great little check-in. Some guys are completely out of form, which is fine, but then you see some guys that are putting in work. And I think it can be a nice little bellwether for the year ahead.
Yeah, I don't mind it. It has been for others in the past. So that's in the afternoon. Notables, we did get notables here.
Who's your pick to click? We got to get back in the gambling circuit.
I know.
We're the number one golf gambling pod, and we just haven't even been making picks lately. PJ, do you have a pick? Are you into golf gambling?
I am a little bit. I dabble. It's not.
Dabble?
I dabble.
I bet you are.
I dabble.
I'll go with Jason Day. It's been grinding, patronizing Australia back home.
This would be
reconnecting with his roots. He's I like Jason Day. He's gonna be down there in his Malbon. He'll be ready to roll. I'm going with Jason Day. I've made a terrible mistake. I didn't consider the consequences of my actions.
This is going to be a tough Sunday episode for everybody out there. That's going to be really hard.
I wanted to go Bobby Mack, but you never know. Who do you got? Feels like something Tom Kim would actually do, just for the.
So the golf course, super wide, but if you miss, you see guys like. I kind of like enjoy watching this golf course because when they get into the waist areas, the sand's like beach sandy. So there's and then
Patrick
there's like
Reed
shrubs.
Has a solution for that,
Who do you have, PJ?
I like Sahith. I think he's gonna find himself in some precarious situations as he obviously
doing hero
does.
picks. But I'm doing hero. Nobody knows anything. This is like picking preseason football games. Yeah. We even know which guys are trying.
All right, the tour's website's got odds to win here.
Of course they do.
So
that's all the tour's website is anymore.
Dayman's plus 1,800. Well, that's why they got Scratch. So they could put Titleist ads there. And then we got Size plus 1400. I'm gonna take I'm gonna go Nick Dunlap.
It's a good pick.
Plus 3,000. Does that mean he's 30-1, PJ?
Yes, that is exactly
gambling experts here. Could be a good weekend for Alabama. Sneaking in the playoff, getting to hear a world challenge.
Well, Bert's getting in the playoff. What are you talking about?
You're not gonna have 5 Big Ten teams in the playoff. Elsewhere in the world of golf, we have the Nedbank Golf Challenge on the DP World Tour at Gary Player Country Club in Sun City. It's a big money limited field event. Long tradition, not long, but going back to the 80s, the Nedbank. Notables in this field: Christian Bezuidenhout, Corey Connors, Thomas Dietrich, Max Homa, defending champ, Mac Hughes, Thurston Lawrence, Eric Van Rooyen, and Will Zalatoris has gone down there. Wow. Notables: Manacero's in the field. Dylan Fratelli went there. It's a big money event. Probably a lot of stipends and compensation for that one. The Vol man, Adrian Otagwe, who has relocated or rebranded. He's now a citizen of the United Arab Emirates.
Oh, wow.
So he's no longer Spaniard. He's doing the Sabatini move.
So he could get in the Olympics.
It's kind of amazing that the Val man went to the country that's the UAE. Oh, Val.
Synergies.
Adrian Otagwe. Riggs Johnston, recent winner. Wenye Ding, Jordan Gumberg are also notables. We have a Burley Boy trio, and Sammy Valimaki, Thirsty Boy, Thurston, and Potgieter down in South Africa. And then as well, Dan Brown, Dan Bradbury, Elvis Smiley, Alex Bjork, Joe Dean, and Robin Williams.
Just great artists of our time.
Peter Kane. You hear about Robin Williams? He's playing the Nedbank Challenge.
Bjork is the musician, right?
Yes. I don't know her music. All I know is she wore a swan as a dress to like the MTV Music Awards. That's all I know about Bjork. Elvis too. All right.
Yeah, Elvis, Bradbury, a couple authors.
Yep. Those are your two events.
That's good.
That's coffee golf, by the way. 4 to 9:30 a.m. Eastern, all 4 days.
That's not coffee golf for us on the West Coast.
6:30 in the morning. You can start
it's
to brew
1 to 6:30.
I got it.
It's a lot of different forms of golf. It could be your baby's up golf.
Yeah.
It could be you're riding a bender golf. It could be you're an insomniac golf.
Yep.
All of the above.
Christmas party going late golf, all sorts of stuff going on there. All right, I think that does it. Do we hit? What's going on?
There's the third event of the week. Champions Tour Q School final stage is currently ongoing.
Any names to watch?
Well, everybody was very excited about the return of the senior Asian Tour Order of Merit winner Ho-Sung Choi. Got a free pass.
He was the senior Asian Tour Order of Merit winner?
Number 1 on the Asian Tour seniors.
Oh my God.
So he gets a free pass to final stage of Q School here. Not a good day today. 2 over. So we got to hope for some better performances if we want a bevy of content.
I'm not sure I knew there was a senior Asian Tour or that he was the Order of Merit winner. But congrats to Ho-Sung.
Wow, that's
dominant season.
That's how he got in. Angel Cabrera currently tied for 5th. Soren Kjeldsen number 1 after
so
one
he didn't
round.
retire.
No.
He left the DP World Tour to get the bag on the Champs Tour.
Oh my.
So there were.
He's gonna make more money on the Champs Tour than he made on the European Tour.
He's gonna kill it out there.
Oh, he might be the number 1 player on the Champs Tour next year.
Dicky Pride and Soren Kjeldsen tied for 1st after round 1. Who else?
Soren's coming for their asses.
Eric Axley, Bo Van Pelt. We got a lot of usual suspects. Omar Uresti. We got a lot of usual suspects.
Omar.
Yeah.
Omar, how is he doing this? He's going to be God.
You know what you need to do?
Eligible for everything.
I want you to make a little leaderboard graphic as it goes with like notable names and their position for the Instagram.
Okay. I'm not. Graphic design is not my passion, but I'll try my best.
The worse, the better. It could be just a Google Doc, a screenshot of a Google Doc.
Well, round one at TPC Scottsdale is about finished. So that's something to keep an eye on for the next couple days.
Think about how much tee time revenue they're missing out on by having this there. That course is like $600 to play or $700.
Where are we talking about?
TPC Scottsdale.
Oh God, that's where they're having it.
Yeah.
So a week long. Let's just say they got 200 players a day for 7 days. This is where goes to why Champions Tour should be folded. $700. We'll just say $600 times 120 times 7. That's $500,000 in tee time revenue they're losing out on by having this shindig here.
Well, we're getting some hosts on content out there,
swirling around in the desert.
This podcast is happy. This is just the business case for the tour.
That's good. All right. Everyone enjoy your Wednesdays. We'll be back with you on Friday. Probably not. Check out the interview on YouTube. That's humming. We'll get back to that next week. Talk to you on Friday.